are coming to you from the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where this afternoon Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Gordon Beckham, Adam Dunn, Johnny Danks and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, and the Detroit Tigers. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you the finale of this three-game set. As you may know, Sox have taken the first two. We won the opener 6-2 behind Chris Sale, and last night in a long, protracted ball game, 11 innings, we won it 4-3 on a big base hit by Diaz. But this afternoon, Avisail Garcia has already had an impact on this ball club.
He certainly has, because he can do so many things. He's got a great arm, he's got great speed, and last night he came up with a huge triple. Now, this is a base hit up the middle on a pitch inside, showing you that he's got a pretty good idea about what to do. This fastball was away. It was a mistake by Scherzer, and it cost him eventually 3 runs as the ball gets away from Cabrera. So that was one of the big plays of the ball game, and then the game ended with Garcia scoring the winning run on a base hit by Diaz, and the all's well that ends well situation. It's been a 6-3 homestand.
Well, Rick Porcello is 2-0 against this year. We've got to do something about him.
Porcello's pretty tough because he's got a good sinker. He does have a change and throws an over-the-top curveball, but his best pitch is a slider. And against our ball club, he's been close to unhittable for the better part of 2 years. He's 5-1 over the last 2 seasons against our team. But this year, 2-0, the ERA is in the ones. As you can see, he's just dominated our ball club in his 3 starts. Johnny Danks, on the other hand, in 2 starts, having some problems with the Tigers. He's 4-9 lifetime against them with his ERA right around 5.5. So we'll have to reverse the trends to sweep the Tigers out of town. Let's see if we can get it done.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, get a sweep against the Central leading Tigers. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. And by Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com.
Welcome back to beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. It's just a gorgeous day, not a cloud in the sky over the ballpark, and it's 69 degrees at game time. So now let's take a look at how Jim Leyland's going to line up his Tigers for the game this afternoon. The finale of the homestand, the finale of the series. Austin Jackson leading it off, and it's Torrey Hunter in the 2 spot. He's been very good lifetime against the Sox. Then it's Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, Victor Martinez, Matt Tuiasosopo, Omar Infante, Jose Iglesias, and Brian Holiday. The defense and how they'll line up behind Johnny Danks, left to right. Alejandro Diaz, Jordan Danks, and Abisail Garcia. In the infield, Connor Gillespie, Alexi Ramirez, Gordon Beckham, and Jeff Keppinger. Tyler Flowers with the nod behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is John Danks. He's 2-9 this year. His ERA a little above 4.5. His control has been good. At times, he's been a little wild in the strike zone. That's been one of the problems. That and the 21 home runs. The umpires for the game this afternoon. Behind the plate, DJ Rayburn. Laz Diaz is at first. Mark Wegner is at second. And the crew chief, Mike Winters, is at third. So the Tigers come in 6 games ahead of Cleveland. In first place in the Central. They're throwing the ball around the infield. That means we're ready to play baseball. I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Stevie. Thank you very much. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for the finale of this 3-game set and this homestand. Austin Jackson stands in. He will lead it off for the first place Tigers, who come in at 69 and 49, 6 games in front of Cleveland. First pitch swung on, and 0-1 to count. This is the 13th meeting of the year between these two clubs. In the first 12, Sox have won 5 of them. That's up high. Tigers come in hitting at .281 as a club with a 3.55 team ERA.
Baseball's so unusual. We get a better record against the Tigers than we do against Minnesota.
It's not who you play, it's when you play them.
The Tigers obviously a much better team, but Minnesota, for whatever reason, has had our ball club's number.
Well, you get that TWTW against certain clubs, you just know it. You get that against certain pitchers, you just know it. They get that against you, and they just know it. That's what makes it such a special game.
Well, it also makes it almost impossible to predict. I mean, you can go in, be playing terrible baseball, and all of a sudden have a series like this. Take the first 2 games from a very good Tiger ball club.
It's up high, full count. Jackson 0 for 6 last night. 13 for 33 lifetime. Off Johnny, as Alexei's got him 1 out.
This is one of the reasons why we've been able to control Detroit in this series, is that Austin Jackson is 0 for 12. So you keep him off base. Then eventually you hope to get to Cabrera with nobody on base.
So here's Hunter. Yeah, anybody that tells you they know baseball, they're kidding themselves. There are some people who've been around it a long time, and who've followed it a long time, who have a nice understanding and maybe can articulate it a little better than others, but nobody knows this game.
Well, if you can see thousands, literally thousands and thousands of baseball game, and still 30 times a year you see something you've never seen before, that makes it an amazing game.
Sure it does. Sure it does. And as I've said many times, you've heard me say it many times, the one thing I do know in my all parts of 7 decades in this game is the longer I'm in it, the less I know about it. It's just a wonder. as there's a chopper.
Kind of interesting because an old baseball, well, he was a baseball lifer, Joey Malfitano, once told me that the names and faces change, but the game never does. That doesn't hold true anymore.
No, it doesn't.
Because the game really has changed.
Yes, it has.
I mean, for many years it didn't. Now it changes year to year.
Yeah, the game definitely changes. And Joey, when he said that, probably was right.
Well,
for
at that time,
yeah.
yes, and for his career and for what he did, he was exactly right. It didn't change.
Torrey hitting at 307, 13 homers, 60 knocked in. Well, one of the interesting things about it is it's easy to say why it's changed in so many ways. And didn't want to do that because here comes Cabrera.
Well, talking with Rod Allen, TV analyst of the Tigers, he said, watch out for Cabrera today because he went 0 for 5 last night. And he said when that happens, he's not a very happy man.
Yeah, that broke a 10-game hitting streak, and he also had homered in 4 consecutive games. And let's take a look at what happened last night. This is one reason that people like us have so much respect for this guy besides his ability to hit. Now, he shouldn't even be playing. Shouldn't even be playing. And there you can see him sliding into first base, getting down there the best he can. As that is high pop-up. I know with what the Tigers are trying to accomplish, there are always exceptions to everything in the game of baseball, to every rule. And this is one right here that, whereas with what the Tigers are trying to accomplish with a 6-game lead, every time he would pop it up or every time he would hit a ground ball to the shortstop right at him or the second baseman, if he took just a right turn and went right to the dugout, nobody would care.
No.
Nobody would say a word about it.
Because he's the heart and soul of this ball club.
Because he wants to play. He's a gamer. He loves it.
Well, he hurt himself on that slide. We could see it. You could see it on his face. You could see it by his body language. And yet he waited for his glove to be brought to him. No histrionics. He went out to third base and resumed his position.
Field just muscles that single into right field. And Torrey knows better than even think about it on Garcia. So 2 out, 2 on.
Well, John's going to have some problems, and he's vulnerable this first inning because he's throwing nothing down. Tigers have had some pretty good swings, and just about everything has been either top part of the zone or higher. And normally, against a good hitting team, and the Tigers are the #1 hitting team in the American League, that's not going to work very well.
So here's Martinez at 283, 10 homers, and 66 knocked in. There's a chopper. Too hard. That ball almost took off on him. Woo! And that'll retire the side after a half inning of play. It's the Tigers 0, and our guys coming to bat.
And Gordon Beckham. Alexei Ramirez, tied for 7th in the AL in hits this year. Then it's Dunn, Garcia, Keppinger, Gillespie, Flowers, and Jordan Dinks rounding it out. The defense and how they'll line up behind Rick Porcello, Tuiasosopo, Jackson, and Hunter in the outfield. Cabrera, Iglesias, and Fonte, and Fielder in the infield. Brian Holiday behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Rick Porcello. On for his 22nd start of the year. He's had very good control. He's a sinker ball specialist. When he's right, gets a lot of ground balls, which means that he's going to be at his most vulnerable in probably the first and second innings before the ball has a chance to sink too much.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. As here's one of last night's heroes to go along with the bullpen. Diaz.
This homestand, Alejandro has been very good. 2 walk-offs in 9 games. That's getting it done. Plus a whole lot of run production from the top.
Yeah, you put Beckham in the mix the way he's been swinging the bat ever since he came back. High and wide, Porcello faced Diaz 23 times. Alejandro has 5 hits. Watch out.
Alejandro Diaz against the Yankees with a walk-off double. And then last night against Phil Coke, a walk-off single.
To pitch, and just pokes that one out of play.
This is going to be the first winning homestand, extended homestand, since May. So things have gone a little bit better these days for Robin and the boys.
Well, we can invoke one of the old adages of baseball. You're never as good as you look when you're winning, or as bad as you look when you're losing.
Well, that's certainly been the case with this team, who on occasion has risen to the competition.
Poster child for that adage.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, it's a good way to start it.
And before a sinker baller has a chance, in other words, when he has too much adrenaline and he's stronger than he's going to be later in the game, instead of ground balls, you're going to get line drives. And Diaz, after a very good at-bat, using up a whole lot of pitches, is aboard.
So here's Beckham. And that ball into right center field, but they get a man there. And Torrey will get it back in. So 1 out. And right now let's check out our Farmers Insurance picks to click. Jim Angio, our director and the crew, went with Dunn. Steve's going with Danks and Nick Palmer, Jeremiah, and Mark, and all the good guys down at Knollwood Country Club down in Granger, Indiana. We're going to go with Garcia. Here's Alexei. Alexei on an 11-game hitting streak. Overall hitting at .286, 3 homers and 35 knocked in. Sox hitting at .249 as a club with a 3.90 ERA. Sox 28-31 here at home, but on the road a very horrid, vulgar 18-41.
Hopefully this coming road trip with Minnesota for 4 and then Kansas City for 3 will prove a little bit easier.
Well, we talked about it several times in the last couple of months, especially more than that, actually, in the last month. Our club does not need a rebuilding at all. They just need a little fine tune here, tweak there, make a couple of decent moves, because you're dealing with a pretty good pitching staff. And anytime you're dealing with a pretty good pitching staff, that is not a rebuilding ball club. A rebuilding ball club is when you got to build, first of all, the pitching staff.
I think one of the things that both Kenny Williams and Rick Hahn realize is they could probably use a left-handed bat. Doesn't necessarily have to be a big home run bat, but a guy that can drive in some runs, some extra base hits, make some contact. And I think there's a lot of folks associated with this team realize that the on-base percentage has become problematic for the team.
Well, defensively and offensively, this has been a club that, in my career as a player and an announcer, all those years, probably the most underperforming team I've ever been associated with in those two categories. And nice play by that kid Iglesias. They don't get him a second, but boy, I'll tell you what, he is fun to watch.
One of the reasons why Dave Dombrowski, in a three-way deal, gave up Avisail Garcia is because of the magic of Jose Iglesias at any position you put him in the infield. But his range really shows up at shortstop because he can almost go second to third base and cover all kinds of ground.
So here's Adam at 230, 27 homers. Could not check it out. Yeah, just watching him in the very few games we have, he looks like he is absolutely got a chance to be the best shortstop in the game. Unbelievable body control.
He can make some
Instincts.
throws. He can make some throws from some angles that you didn't even know there were those angles.
Well, that play he made in game one, which our producer Mike Leary has got, we'll show you a little bit later. That play and also the play that Tadahito Oguchi made. Those are the best two plays we've ever seen from a shortstop on that kind of a play, and the second baseman on that kind of a play. Two and 0 the count. I guess the word is creative. You know, you see in every sport, guys getting more creative. In basketball, they're getting more creative. Baseball, they're getting more creative. Iglesias is the poster child for being creative so far that we've seen. And the count 3-1.
Well, the more talented you are, the easier it is to be creative. There's a whole lot of people in this game that don't have a chance to have creativity because they're just trying to stay alive and make the plays. But the guys who can make all the plays, they can show you some things again like you've never seen before.
We keep seeing that.
Omar Vizquel showed you some things. Robbie Alomar showed you some things that you never saw before.
Yeah, Robbie Alomar reinvented the play of a second baseman. And there's ball 4 that will load him up.
Let's take a look at a couple of plays, the likes of which you're not going to see for quite some time. Iglesias gets it across and gets him at first base. Now we'll flash back to April 15th of 06. Tadahito Aguchi, same kind of play. Only difference, one man makes it from second base, the other from shortstop. Both unbelievable plays, and both of them airborne when the ball leaves their hand, which is somewhat unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. The best we've ever seen. I mean, how many thousands of games have you seen? How many thousands of games have I seen?
Nope.
So here's Garcia. Shanks that one foul, souvenir right side. Well, you know, we have in our viewing audience, we have a tremendous amount. In fact, Chicago's probably the greatest golf market in the world. And talk about creativity. There's one guy that changed the whole face of European golf.
Seve Ballesteros?
That's him. He changed the whole face of European golf. He brought them because of his creativity. Seve hit the ball. If you're talking about hitting the ball bad, Seve hit it sideways. I mean, he hit it all over the lot. But he could take a 3-iron out of a bunker on a 15-foot bunker shot and hit it like you're hitting a 64-degree wedge. He could get it up and down from everywhere. But the biggest thing that he changed European golf in is the ability to be competitive. When I played over the European Tour for a few tournaments and played in the British Open, the Brits and the Europeans, well, if they shot 73 or 74, well, it's bad luck. They go in and have their pint of beer and sit down and oh, well, I could have made those putts. Seve changed all that. He brought the tiger into the tank. And creativity is coming into this game the same way. Look at some of the plays that Mike Trout, Bryce Harper have made. There's a close pitch. Didn't get it. And some of the young talent we've got coming up, like Iglesias in the infield.
That's the thing that's exciting for me, is watching young players on a yearly basis from all different organizations come into the league and play like they belong here very quickly. Nice stop by Holiday,
yes,
because that could have easily been a run. And now the count goes full. Porcello having all kinds of problems. He's made 27 pitches in his first inning as he steers that one straight into the ground.
Look at the defensive play we've seen in the outfield just in the last months.
Well, we saw Lorenzo Cain, who's now on the disabled list. He turned a series around with his glove. David Lowe, another guy who made a great catch. We're going to see Kansas City on this road trip. Both of those guys were terrific.
Josh got a piece of that. How about the kid from Minnesota? What, Aaron Hicks?
Aaron Hicks certainly was terrific. They sent him down the minor leagues, but there wasn't anything defensively he couldn't do.
He just couldn't. He had to put the bat on the ball.
It's true.
But defensively, we've seen some utterly spectacular defensive play.
How about Arcia in left field? A right fielder by trade, made some great plays in left.
Payoff pitch. And another souvenir right side.
Nice at bat so far by Garcia as he battles his former teammate.
Just turned 22 in June. Get through. Look at Iglesias. They dropped the ball, and Fonte could not hold on to it. So Diaz scores. Everybody's safe, and it's 1-0 Sox.
It's got to go as a base hit. It's got to go as a 13th run driven in by Garcia. Another outstanding effort by Iglesias at shortstop. But the only play he could make is try to flip it, and he couldn't get the ball out quite quickly enough. So Infante, for the second time in the inning, can't hold on to the baseball. This would have been a spectacular force out. Instead, it keeps him loaded. And the inning continues to roll along. Here's our AT&T U-verse multi-view. Great speed at first. Very good speed at third. And Adam, for a big man, runs okay.
So here's Keppinger. Takes first pitch strike. He is 1 for 9 lifetime off Porcello. Come on, guys. We need to get this guy, as Steve was talking about, get these sinker ballers early.
That was a great at bat by Garcia, who really battled. He keeps looking better and better. More opportunities had to play. He shows you a different facet of his game on a daily basis. And with the bases loaded, career-wise, Jeff Keppinger has been awfully good.
That's into right center field. That's going to get one more in. Adam going in and safe. It's 2-0 Sox.
Dangerous play by Adam Dunn, because the only play Austin Jackson had, and he's got a pretty decent arm, very accurate certainly, only play was at third.
Adam knew that, and I think he had measured out that he knew that Alexi could score, but somebody had to make sure Alexi kept running.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes, you know, if there's no play on you, you do ease up. And then next thing you know, man's out third, run doesn't score. But that being said, runners at the corners, it's a 2-0 game.
Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way. I was the runner at third.
Yeah, you're trotting home, kind of enjoying the fact that there's no play on you.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they get the guys tagging up going into third.
That's it.
And that was the third out. And the run didn't count. Gillespie, 4 for 9 with a homer lifetime against Porcello. Well, we get another Garcia that's coming. They say AJ texted me that he is very, very exciting. Great speed, great kid, great arm. Needs to cut this down his swing a little bit. And that's Leroy Garcia.
When you've got great speed and a great arm, and you're 22 years old, you have to figure that whatever hitting is going to be there is going to come, depending on how much a chance you get to play.
Well, what's the one thing that's been, in your opinion, and then I'll tell you what I think, the biggest lack of our club this year?
Well, there's a couple of different things. And the biggest,
but the biggest, if you had to pick one, just one.
Biggest lack. I would say the ability to go from first to third, the ability to stretch doubles from singles, and a whole amount of team energy.
That's it. You just hit it. That's it. That's the one thing that we've lacked the most of anything this year was team energy.
Well, speed will give you that.
Exactly right.
It's going to give you a lot of energy.
And here's a shot base hit. Here's the throw to third. That's cut off by Infante. And it's 3-0.
RBI number 29 for Connor Gillespie. He got a breaking ball up. This is supposed to be the overhand curveball, but he doesn't have a feel for it yet. And so it stays up in the zone. Gillespie rifles it into right field. That's 38 pitches. And this is a guy that has absolutely tormented our ball club for the better part of the last 2 years. He's 5-1 with an ERA below 2 in the last 2 seasons. But it's not in evidence here this afternoon.
Don't stop now, boys. As that's chop foul. But you hit it right on the head. You got it. Team energy. That's the one thing that we have lacked the most this year. And what gives you team energy is, especially for the most part, are young players who have talent and young players who can run.
Well, that's why this is a transitional phase. And I won't go, you said it, this is not going to be a complete rebuilding, but it's a transitional phase.
Yes. To Harper, Iglesias, over to Infante, but some damage is done. The crooked number goes up on that board, and after one, it is 3-0 Sox.
Miller Light. Let's take a look at the pitching in U.S. Cellular Field as compared to some of the other teams in the American League. The Oakland Athletics, well, they're the best in home games. The Texas Rangers are second, and that's a tough ballpark to pitch in. And our Sox are third, just a touch ahead of Kansas City. So third, with the best ERA in the American League in home games, pretty good. And you look at the 28-31 record with that pitching at home, and you just have to shake your head.
It's a 3-0 ball game. Sopo, Infante, Iglesias. Matt hitting at .279, 7 homers and 28 driven in.
Sopo never came close to looking as good with Seattle as he looks here with the Tigers. One of the big reasons is he's a specialist against the left-hand pitchers.
Well, somebody's flipped his switch.
I'm sure Lloyd McClendon has really helped him out. Lloyd's been there a long time. He's been the hitting coach for 8 years, and he looks like a different guy.
Last year in Buffalo, he spent the year in Buffalo. He had 240, 242.
Came up here now, and he's hitting just about everything right on the button. Lifetime 176 major league hitter coming into this year.
Gillespie, long peg. Yeah, Sopo's got some talent, but he's in that age, that window now, 26, 27, 28, that somebody may have gotten to him to let that talent start coming out. And 99 times out of 100, it's not anything mechanical. It's something between the 6 inches, something between the ears.
Well, a lot of times they'll tell you that it's not necessarily the message, but the messenger. It's how it's phrased to you.
It's semantics and delivery. That's why Charlie Lau, that was his greatest asset. It's not that Charlie knew that much more about hitting than everybody else. I played with Charlie. He was the third-string catcher when I first came up to Kansas City.
He did have 4 doubles in one game, though, I do remember.
Well, he was a good hitter. He was a tough, he was not a real good catcher. He had a tendency to box it up behind the plate, but he was a good, solid line drive hitter. And he was a smart guy, and he had a great demeanor. And that was his big asset. He articulated what he knew very well. And he had a way of getting it over. And Charlie was a smart guy, don't get me wrong. In fact, he made more money playing hearts against us than he did on salary, because he was only making $6,000 a year. And that didn't take long. After an inning half, it is 3-0 Sox.
Inside look, Charles Tillman. Hear how he's gearing up for the season ahead and find out the biggest regret of his career in Chicago. All that and more on Inside Look. Charles Tillman, presented by Cadillac today after postgame live on Comcast Sportsnet.
3-0 good guys here in the bottom of the second inning. Jordan Danks will lead it off. Jordan, a couple of hits last night. He was 2 for 5. Breaking ball, couldn't get it. Another breaking ball. And the count 0-2. But, getting back to what you're talking about, you can have 2 different pitching coaches as you can have 2 different hitting coaches. And all 3 breaking balls, 1 out. Both those guys can be telling you almost exactly the same thing, but phrasing it differently.
Very much so.
And then all of a sudden you can get another guy comes in, a third guy, who phrases it differently than they did, but in essence telling you the same thing they told you. And yet it clicks with you because it lights your boat. Here's Yazzie. He started it off last inning with a good at bat, and there's a bunt. They very quickly out. That's a nice play by Brian Holiday. That's a good bunt.
Well, Holiday got out there quickly, and probably the one thing that Alejandro wanted to do was get this a little closer to Cabrera. He wanted to make sure that Holiday wasn't involved, but it was close enough to him where he jumped out, had the angle when he picked it up, and then made a bullet of a throw.
Yeah, usually if you get it out there where they've got an angle, they'll have a shot at you, but that was a really good play. Yes, here's Beckham. He went out to Hunter in right field.
I think sometimes as a coach, doesn't matter, hitting coach, pitching coach, whatever, you've got to be part salesman. And the saying always goes, if you can sell yourself, then you can sell anything. Selling the belief in the coach is what makes the message get through. And I think that's what Don Cooper has done with our pitchers here. First of all, he sells himself to each and every guy because he watches them pitch for a while. He's not going to change in the first day he sees them. He watches them pitch. Then he goes and tries to do what he does. But in the meantime, because one of his track record and two, because of his personality, he's able to sell himself. Consequently, then you can sell whatever you want to, in this case, a pitcher.
Well, that is the primary difference in a pitching coach and a hitting coach. The pitching coach, because you're working him once every 5 days, can take his time a little bit more.
No doubt. With starters, certainly.
Right. And, well, that's the reason they have starter coaches and bullpen coaches a lot, because the mentality is different. But the difference in that being a pitching coach than a hitting coach has to push his wares and his knowledge on the hitters a little quicker and more so than a pitching coach does, because the guy's playing every day.
See, everyday activity.
That ball hit hard by Fielding. Another bullet off the bat of Beckham. But now Charlie was different. Charlie Lau was a little bit different. What Charlie would do is Charlie wouldn't even come close to forcing his stuff on you. After you went 0 for 20, then you listen very closely to what he's got to say. Because a lot of guys, they sign for big bucks. The reason they sign for big bucks because they had a tremendous record in high school or college. And they don't want to hear anything. They let it go in one ear, out the other. So the White Sox have adopted a policy offensively now. They let them fail, and then they start going in to help them, which is the proper thing to do.
I don't think that's a bad idea, because it could very well be that the guys don't fail, that whatever served them well at an early stage will serve them well now. Now, more times than not, that doesn't work in professional baseball or Major League Baseball, but occasionally it does, and why tamper with a guy if he's going to be a winner for you?
Well, you just give a guy $7 million. I remember when we signed Joe Borchard. One of our scouts told me, Hawk, this guy's going to be the next Mickey Mantle. I said, what? He said he's going to be the next Mickey Mantle. I'd never seen Borchard. Signed him out of Stanford. He said he could fly, he's big, he's strong, switch hitter. And when he joined us, he was having a little trouble, and they immediately went into the mechanical phase of trying to change his swing. Well, as great a guy as Joe Borgia was, he never made it.
Yep. True.
He got so wrapped up in mechanics that it was sad, because you could see what was happening. Couldn't do anything about it. Two-hopper very quickly underneath. They get the force, and that'll retire the side. We're into the third, leading 3-0. Brian Holliday to the catcher. We'll lead it off. Sox lead it 3-0. 3 in the first inning if you're just tuning in. Holliday hitting at .231.
This is his second stint with the Tigers this year, being called up from Toledo. Hit .262 down there. Had 4 home runs, 24 driven in 76 games with the Toledo Ball Club.
That's in a hole for a base hit. And you can send us your comments on today's game through Twitter using hashtag White Sox Talk, and we'll read one back later in the game, and it just might be yours. Jackson fouls it back. He grounded out to Alexei. There he goes.
Not often you see a hit and run used with a catcher, but Jackson has really had a tough series, and I'm sure what went into the thought process of Jim Leland was, well, I'm going to send a runner. Jackson's going to have to keep his head in, going to have to keep his front side in to try to shoot the ball to right field, but he fouled it off.
And there's a base hit by Jackson into right field. So trouble a brewing.
John threw this ball up, and Jackson, who tried to go to the right side on the hit and run, stays right there and gets his first hit of the series.
All right, got to forget about the man at third. Just go from here as Torrey Hunter, who walked back in the first, stands in. That's into right field. He's tagging. He's not going anywhere on this arm. So 1 out.
Hunter bidding for his 61st run batted in. He reaches down, and no chance at all to even think about it. Tom Brookins certainly knows the capabilities of Garcia in right field. So now a double play away from getting out of the inning.
Here's Cabrera. Went out to center field. High and deep. What new? Tied at 3.
.114 for Miguel Cabrera. First pitch and gone. 23rd career home run against our Sox. Our 4th home run replay. Danks tries to get it inside and can't get it there. As Cabrera looking for that ball inside early in the count. Got one to his liking.
And that's hit right to Keppinger. 2 down. Well, you're not going to He's put himself into the category, as we used to talk about Alfred Bell a little bit, especially in that second half that Albert had with us. You can't get him out. He can get himself out, but you can't get him out. And that's about where Cabrera is. He's put himself into that echelon of hitters. Most of the time, you can't get him out. He'll get himself out because he'll outthink himself sometimes.
Well, there's a pretty good chance in that at bat, because John tried to get the ball in on him the first time that he went up. He was going to give up the first pitch, but if he got the ball in, then you were in trouble. And that's exactly what happened. He got the ball in.
Yeah, Cabrera, as we talk about, he might go down as the best we've ever seen.
John has given up now 7 home runs against the Tigers in 2+ starts. And for the year, 22 home runs given up in just under 100 innings of work.
Well, John right now, because of he's about 6 inches short, 5 or 6 inches on his fastball. And he's made a lot of mistakes with the changeup. He can't get away with a mistake.
Not these days. He will be able to, but not at this point. I anticipate him coming back next year.
Yeah.
He's going to probably have another couple miles an hour on his fastball, which will make his cutter better, which will also make his slow curveball that much more devastating.
Well, his cutter's been almost non-existent. Free run homer by Miguel Cabrera, and we are tied at 3. Tweets with Sox in-game live only at CSNChicago.com, brought to you by Comcast Business Class.
Well, a brand new ball game. The difference being that Porcello has thrown an awful lot of pitches through 2 innings. Now the boys have to go back to work and try to rebuild a lead.
Here's Adam. He walked and scored back in the first inning. Breaking ball, no. Count evens at 1. Two and 1. 3-5-0 for our guys, 3-4-0 for their guys. Cabrera, 38 homers, 114 knocked in.
He's 6 behind Chris Davis in home runs. He has retaken the lead and runs batted in.
Counting this one, 43 games left remaining for the Tigers. Got him. 1 out. Great seats are still available for the remainder of the season. Prices have been greatly reduced, and the schedule is full of great matchups, promotional nights, and post-game fireworks. Lower-level tickets for all remaining Monday through Saturday games start as low as $20. Sundays start as low as only $15. So purchase your tickets. WhiteSox.com or 866-SOX-GAME. Here's Garcia. Had an infield single and an RBI. That's in the whole base hit.
Well, Cabrera can't move.
Yeah, he can't move at all. You got to bunt, maybe bunt. We haven't tried it yet.
Nope, we haven't tried. Well, we tried the one, but unfortunately it didn't get far enough away from Holiday. But you saw Cabrera that time. He never moved. And Iglesias has a lot of range, just not that much. This ball's not hit hard, and Cabrera, I mean, you got to know that Jim Leland said to him, look, we need you in the lineup every day. I don't want to see you exploding to either side in the infield, and you don't have to run balls out. Just stay in the lineup every day for me. I'm sure he was cringing when he saw him try to beat that play last night and slide into first on top of it.
Well, if he wasn't, he should have been. Yes, there's the strike. No, he's Garcia's, or Cabrera, I should say. Pitchers can live with that, too, because they want him hitting those 3-run homers.
Yeah, Porcello's the happiest man in the world. He didn't want him breaking on anything left or right.
Jammed himself right there. 2 down. And here's Gillespie. He ripped a single into right field for an RBI in the first inning. He is now 5 for 10 lifetime against Porcello. This is like pitchers can live a lot of times with. An example for our little older White Sox fans, when Jose Valentin was here, our pitchers could live with him making an error because of the way he played the game. The big runs he drove in. So when he made an error, they did not get upset. As opposed to, let's take it when Mike Caruso was a shortstop here. They could not live when he made with it when he made an error. They got hot. You know yourself when you got a guy out there who's making all the plays, and he boots one for you and puts you in a bad spot. You're liable to go over there and say, hey, don't worry about it, I'll bail you behind out.
Yeah, well, first of all, you need a defender. You need one of the guys, and hopefully more, but certainly one of the guys that doesn't do a whole lot offensively, but he's going to make every play behind him. Because physical errors is nothing you can do.
No, that's going to.
You just have to hope that and trust that the mental errors are going to be kept to a minimum, because those you should be able to avoid.
Outfield around to the right, gap out there in left center. It's a place where Gillespie very seldom hits. And that'll retire the side. We're into the fourth, tied at 3. 3-3 tie here in the top of the fourth inning. It'll be Dueñas Sopo, Infante, and Iglesias. Johnny Danks. Breaking ball strike. That's high in the right field. One out. And our Sox and Athletico Physical Therapy both understand the importance of injury prevention in players and in fans' daily activities. So visit athletico.com/blog for injury prevention tips. Athletico Physical Therapy, the official physical therapy provider of our White Sox. Athletico, better for everybody. Here's Infante. He also went out to Garcia and right.
Infante is a difference maker for this club. He was gone a month. Not that they did poorly. They won 12 games in a row. But with him back in the lineup, along with Iglesias at shortstop, it gives them just a great double play combination.
And that's popped up right side. Beckham. 2 down. So here's Jose Iglesias. Got it out to Beckham. He's now 1 for 4 against Danks. That one hit was a home run at Comerica Park. And that'll be it. Easy 1-2-3 inning. And we're still tied at 3.
Cap and his panel deliver a unique take on the day in sports with lively debate on all the day's news. Don't miss Sports Talk Live tonight at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Young fan enjoying just a gorgeous day at the ballpark. It's 67 degrees. Feels almost like a day in San Diego. But that's been the most unique summer. Started out very wet, then got hot and humid for about 1 week. And this is what we've had in August, which is very unusual.
Flowers, Danks, and Diaza. Tyler hit into a 6-4 fielder's choice. his first trip.
Porcello is starting to throw a few more ground balls, which is never a good sign when facing him. But you just have to force him to get the ball up to you.
Well, the majority of pitchers, that's what the thought has to be as you walk up to home plate, getting ready to get in the batter's box. You've got to have a plan that you want to do against him, but the first thought's got to be make him get it up. That's with most pitchers. Now, you get the guys throwing from 95 and up, you got to make them get it down.
And Tyler looking back at DJ Rayburn, he thought that ball was up and in. It certainly was borderline, but Porcello got the benefit of the call. Catchers have to be a little careful at how vociferously they're going to argue with the umpire, because they have to get pitches for their pitcher.
They take the worst of it in that respect.
It's difficult. It's difficult to do too much in a given at bat when you know that you're going to be back there lobbying for each and every pitch for your guy and 3 outs.
I remember a streak with Carlton Fisk when it wasn't 83. Maybe it's the next year. Anyway, he went through the streak there that they were just making some unbelievable calls on him. And he just bit his tongue for that reason. As he gets Flowers, 1 out. Yeah, he just, for the most part, he just had to stand there. Be like getting in a fight. You just got to stand there and get hit. Can't fight back.
It's not a real good thing. That's why catchers are so difficult to find real good ones, and it's such a tough position because you have to know so much going into a ball game, much more than anybody else. You got to know your entire pitching staff, both the starter and the relievers that day. You have to know all of their hitters, because it's very important. You have to know where they stand. You have to know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then you have to contribute offensively, so you have to know their pitcher and what you're going to do, along with taking a beating, the normal beating that catchers take.
That's a base hit. Humpback line drive for Jordan, so he's now 1 for 2. And besides that, it's just like last night. We had a long game last night, and when you go home, you got to sleep fast. Catchers have to think fast. They have to know everything you just mentioned. But their first responsibility, after all that's said, is getting that pitcher in a rhythm and keep him in it. So he has to think fast. If he's got to get behind the plate and just go over, well, what am I going to call this time? That's not good enough.
No, and you also have to be a bit of a psychologist, because when you go out there to talk to the pitcher, it's not that, you know, you can say get your arm up. That's one thing. But most of the time, there's a different key with each and every pitcher, and a catcher has to know what that key is. So if he goes out there, he can read the riot act to certain guys. Whereas other guys, if you do that, you're going to lose them. Some guys you have to encourage them. Some guys you have to just say, hey, look, there's just one little thing. If you change, I think we got it now. You know, your stuff is good enough today, so trust in it. I mean, it depends on the guy.
But that being said, he's got to get him in a rhythm and keep him in it. That's the first responsibility of a catcher. I remember when we were running for a pennant in 1967, Elston Howard. We had a pitcher out there on the mound who was timid, and he was a spot starter for us. Everybody else was down, and he was throwing ball 1, ball 2, 3-1, ball 1, ball 2, 3-0, ball 4. That went on for about 3 or 4 hitters, and I was playing first base. As DeIza pops it up. Two down, so Ellie calls timeout. Walks down to the pitcher. Got right in his face. I mean, 2 or 3 inches from his face. And he says, you blankety blank blank. If you don't start throwing strikes, I'm going to kick your blankety blank you know what.
Well, that's a type of pep talk, certainly.
Yeah, it is. And I know he went back behind the plate. Next pitch was strike. Next pitch was strike 2. Because Ellie was a big, strong, tough guy. Here's Beckham. He's 1 for 2. But as you mentioned, some guys you got to kick them in behind. Some other guys you got to kiss them on the cheek.
Porcello, former #1 draft pick of these Tigers, got to the major leagues in a hurry. Had tremendous talent. High school pitcher coming out of New Jersey.
Breaking ball.
He dropped to the 27th pick in the draft in 2007. One of the reasons he did at the time was the estimated price tag was way up there, and a lot of teams just passed on it. He was going to be a top 5 pick. He just let it be known exactly how much money he wanted.
And there's a base hit for Gordon. So he's 2 for 3. What new? Now Porcello, a lot of decisions for being just 24 years old.
He spent 1 year at Lakeland and then got to the Tigers in his second year in professional baseball in 2009 and was 14-9, so didn't have a whole lot of adversity. Then 10, he went 10-12, 14-9 again in 11. Last year 10-12 again, so he's been up, down, up, down.
But overall, he was a terrific first-round pick.
Oh, he continues to take the baseball.
Are you
kidding?
That's it. When you're in the starting rotation on a contending team and a team that's been to the World Series, and you were a first-round pick, that was a successful choice.
That was an unbelievable stop by Holiday.
He looks pretty good so far. First time we've seen him.
And defensively, I mean, that's his strong point. Take a look at this stop. Another curveball. I'm not sure how it stuck in his glove. But it did move. Oh, this one does. No, he caught it right in his armpit. Well, he moved to his right, made sure that he got a part of his body and stopped the ball.
That's a can of corn into center field. And we'll go to the 5th, still tied at 3. Brian Holiday, the catcher, the 9th place hitter, leads it off here in the top of the 5th. Rips that one foul. He's 1 for 1. Had a base hit in the whole left side.
And he realizes that there's a good chance that he won't be here in a few days. Alex Avila, their #1 catcher, is on the disabled list, the 7-day concussion disabled list. And so they called up Holiday from Toledo.
Can of corn into right field. So 1 out, and Sox fans join us on Saturday, September 14th at 6:10 for halfway to St. Patty's Day and post-game fireworks presented by Miller Lite. Also, the first 20,000 adults aged 21 and over will receive a green White Sox cap. So, whitesox.com or 866-SOX-GAME. Austin Jackson. 1 for 2, a single and a run scored. Make your plans to be with us tomorrow as we will board our charter, head on over to Minnesota. First of a 4-game set with the Twinkies. Then an off day on Monday the 19th in Kansas City and play those guys, I should say, 3 games. So a 7-game road trip encompassing 8 days.
Kansas City's been playing good solid baseball. They won 7 of their last 10. They find themselves 7 games over 500. There you look at the upcoming schedule. Texas
won 19 out of the last 23.
Yeah, I mean they've been just terrific. The pitching has been great. They made a trade, got Justin Maxwell from Houston. He's helped them in right field after the departure of Jeff Francoeur.
Is he playing right or center?
He was playing right. Now with Kane going down, could very well be that he is a center fielder by trade. They might have shifted him over.
I think he's playing center and David Lowe is in right.
Because I saw him make an unbelievable play in right field where he caught the ball coming close to the line and then banged into the wall after making a catch. So I'm sure now that Kane has gone on the DL, they're probably taking advantage of his speed and his ability to play a very spacious center field.
Softly hit, but Jordan is there. 2 down. Yeah, he's had a couple big hits for him too, Maxwell. I think his home run won a game for him last week.
Center field today for Kansas City is Jared Dyson as Maxwell has the day off.
In right center field, and nobody's going to get that one. So Hunter will pull it up on a good play by Danks to hold him to a single.
This is absolutely a great play because by all rights this should have been a double. And Torrey Hunter, thinking about 2 bases, pulled up. And I think one of the incentives of pulling up there was knowing who was coming up behind him, because you certainly don't want to get taken off the base paths and end the inning with Cabrera coming up.
Well, I'm not so sure. I hadn't rather seen him hit a double than easy then.
I would have absolutely pitched around Cabrera.
Put him on. Watch out.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed action replay. And Cabrera looking for the ball in, got it in. Hitting his 38th. And now has 114 driven in, and that one tied the game at 3.
Outfield, they are deep. Big gap in left center. Hunter just a decent lead. Maxwell, getting back to him with Kansas City, 10 games he's hitting .400 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs.
Could very well be the ecstasy of departing Houston, knowing they're in a huge rebuilding phase and coming to a team that is still in contention for a wild card.
There, that last pitch is where you've got to pitch Miguel Cabrera if you're going to pitch to him. You cannot get the ball from a third of the plate out to the 2/3. Ball gets by him.
He doesn't know where it is yet. Now it's 3-2. It's a 1-run game after the wild pitch. Do you consider putting Cabrera on first base?
I don't think if people have learned their lesson yet, shame on them.
Well, I figured make a pitch, throw it out of the zone. If he wants to get himself out trying to drive home the run, then let him do it.
That's different. If you're going to try to get him out,
just don't make it close.
That's it. Down at the bottom of the zone, change up, got him. We're halfway home, tied at 3.
As many days in a row, but we will certainly help you out.
Adam Dunn will lead it off here in our half of the 5th inning. He has walked, scored, and struck out. Our Chuck's been putting in too many hours. We got to go to Jim Corno Jr. and get this situation resolved.
He sure is.
1-1 the count.
See, we're so used to having him on tape that when he runs out of gas, he just stops.
That changeup. But he's a resilient man.
Oh, he'll bounce back strong later in the game.
And there's a base hit.
Well, there's the advantage of Adam Dunn on a streak where he's hitting a lot of pitches to left and left center field, because there was no shift whatsoever. Normally, Infante would be back exactly where this ground ball goes. It's a hanging curveball. And this is usually a ground ball to second if they use the regular shift on him. But as you can see, they're playing him pretty much straight up. And that ball into right field, and a good start to the 5th inning.
Garcia's 2 for 2. An RBI in the 1st inning. One of the few bad pitches that Scherzer made yesterday was to Garcia for that 2-run triple. And most of the time, the first pitch, and that ball hit in center field, right back in front of the track for out number 1. Most of the first pitch, though, to him has been inside. So you always want to see what the other team, how they want to pitch a guy they just traded.
Yeah, certainly they're looking for the soft spots, and they realize that he might have had some problems in there. However, what he's shown here on some inside pitches, the ability to pull his hands in. And Scherzer, after working him inside hard, went away with a pretty good fastball. And that's the ball he drove just past Torrey Hunter, slicing away from him. That the biggest at bat of the ball game, and for a while it looked like it was going to be the game-winning hit. It did, however, get Scherzer a no decision in pursuit of his 18th win. And at the end, going into extra innings, Sox win.
Well, we gave them 2 of the 3 runs,
Yep.
and they gave us 1 of our 4. Cappinger had a sacrifice fly and a pop-up to first base. And there's a solid shot into left field. So double digits for us in hits. With 10, they have 5, and we're tied at 3.
That one through the left side. Every hit a single. This is reminiscent of the first ball game, where the Sox were able to win the game without hitting the ball out of the ballpark with 14 hits in 8 innings. That has not happened very much. In fact, I believe the record is 11-35 when our club. It's 12-35 with the win yesterday.
Got in on him right there. So he has the Sopo for out number 2. And that'll bring in Tyler. Tyler is 0 for 2. Fielder's choice and a strikeout. Got in on him, made him up, and that'll retire the side. So we strand a couple more. We've left 7. We've completed 5, and we're tied at 3. 3-3 tie, top of the 6th inning. And a reminder, you can organize a group outing of 20 or more for a Sox game during the season and receive savings off the individual game ticket price. Enhance your outing by upgrading to our new Miller Lite bullpen party porch, our pregame patio party, our diamond suite, or one of our other great party areas. So 312-674-1000 or whitesox.com, and that is the Bertucci Boys domain. They'll take care of you. Bobby Bruno and Handsome Anthony.
Tom Paciorek went over there before the game to put a huge dent in their food margin.
Look at this. Oh, boy, just foul. Well, Wimpy can eat, I can tell you that.
I believe he got here at 10 o'clock. Stopped eating about 1:15. Decided to stop up to the booth. And I think he's back in the back of the booth eating as we speak.
I'll tell you what.
I know.
This is no BS, okay? As long as you put it out there and it's free,
it doesn't matter.
He will not stop. He will absolutely eat. And his credo in life, if you paid for it, it costs too much.
And if it's free, it's for me.
If it's free, he'll take 3. 1-1 to count to Fielder. And he never gains an ounce. That's what's the amazing part.
Well, he is on a very strict workout schedule because walking to those restaurants in the morning is exhausting.
Whipperoo. And there's a 3-hopper. Gordon's got him. Yeah, Wimpy. Pretty good athlete. His whole family. I think his brother John still holds the major league record for the highest batting average with a minimum of 5 at bats. He was 5 for 5.
Minimum of 5 at bat. They keep that stat?
Minimum of 6, minimum of 7, minimum of 8.
Okay.
They keep everything, you know. That was on Tuesday nights. Minimum of 5 on Tuesday nights.
I see. Okay.
But Wimpy, All-American defensive back at the University of Houston, and he played a whole year with a fracture in his leg.
I thought you were going to tell me he played a whole year without a helmet.
No. Can you believe that? Defensive back play a whole year with a broken leg?
No.
Drafted by the Marlins in the 7th round. I mean the Dolphins, I should say. 1 out, 1 strike.
He picked the right sport.
Yeah. But I've had some friends of mine that have all hit hard by Gillespie, so unfortunately I'm the only one that can remember that pop-up. They hit him right in the top of the head at Old Comiskey Park. Mike Leary tried to find it. John Walgren tried to find it. Nobody can find it. Hit him right on the top of the beanie. So here's Tuiasa Sopo. He grounded to third and gone out to right.
That's happened to a few folks, and I can't believe it's all that comfortable. Maybe the best was the one that went off Jose Canseco's head out of the ballpark.
That's the best.
That's the definitive.
Yeah, that is.
Hit in the head.
That's the poster child. And then the second one, well, I don't know. It might be a tie between him and Rodney McRae, but getting hit in the head, yeah, Canseco. When Rodney went through that wall, that was pretty amazing. I love bloopers.
A lot of stadiums have taken to putting it on the jumbotrons between innings, and the fans
love it.
The fans just love it.
Yeah,
it's terrific.
Yeah, look at Mike Leary.
Look at this. Look at how he just pulls this one out.
Look at this. Watch this.
Jose going back, he has great hands at this point of his career, but boy, he has a hard head.
That is the definitive headshot right there. The 2-1, no. '77th pitch coming up. Broken bat right in the hole right side. So there is your spend some meal money verbiage.
Hitters always have a big smile on their face when they get the bat shattered, don't get anything into the swing, and manage to ease the ball somehow through the infield.
You don't see the exchange today, though, that there used to be on a shot like that by a big, strong hitter. Pitcher was down on the mound and look at him and scream at him.
Okay.
Infante has gone out to right and he's popped up to second. Takes that changeup low and away. Bottom of the 6th, the Target Field. Twins leading the Indians 6-3. Indians might not recover from that series in that one definitive game. And there's a base hit. It's a 4-3 Tiger lead.
We told you about the tremendous difference it makes with Omar Infante. Off the disabled list, this is his 3rd game back. He takes a changeup away, drives in his 29th run of the year. This one getting just under the glove of Ramirez at short, bringing Don Cooper out from the dugout. And for the first time today, the Sox have relinquished the lead.
Here's Iglesias. He is grounded to second. And then tried to bunt. Popped up to Keppinger first.
That was Gene Lamont, former Sox manager, standing in back of Jim Leyland. Longtime Jim Leyland coach, Gene Lamont.
One in, one out, 2 on. Four 8-0 for the Tigers, 3-10-0 for our Sox.
Ramon Troncoso loosening up in the pen.
Count evens at 1. Changeup.
With runners in scoring position, Iglesias has been very good. Most of those numbers piled up with the Boston Red Sox, where he surprised everybody in their organization by hitting the baseball as well as he did.
There they go. And that's foul. So 1-2 the count. Come on, Johnny. Pull your neck, buddy. takes that one over our dugout, a souvenir.
Indians did take a bit of bad luck as Corey Kluber, one of their better looking young starters, went on the disabled list with a sprained middle finger on his pitching hand.
He gone. Change up. Pull a good motion on him.
That changeup a little higher than John would have wanted. It wasn't location but velocity that completely fooled Iglesias.
So here's Holiday. Brian is single in the whole left side and gone out to right. Curveball, yes. Had to load him up. He didn't want to do that.
Not with Jackson coming up. Even though he has not had a good series, his one base hit in the third was right in the middle of a 3-run inning.
And he's 14 for 36 lifetime off day with 3 home runs.
So John hits just his 4th man of the year.
Takes first pitch strike. And he quickly jumps on top in the count, 0-2. We mentioned tomorrow night, join us, Andre Rienzo against Mike Pelfrey. First of a 4-game set at Target Field in Minnesota. Can't get over. There's a lot of Sox fans make that trip every year over to Minneapolis. That game will be over Comcast Sportsnet. Always a lot of Sox fans in Minnesota. Two and two. Take him right here. You don't want to go full. It's full. Bases loaded. 2 out. Blue plate special for a hitter. Nice play by Gillespie. Low throwing. So 2 runs are going to score. And make it a 6-3 Tiger lead.
The stop is a good one. The throw, not such a good one. And on the hop, Jeff Keppinger, who is not an accomplished first baseman, was able to get a glove on it, and that was about it. So it stretches the lead to 6-3. It's E5 and 2 more unearned runs across the plate.
It's amazing. It really is amazing how many unearned runs. That'll do it. But a big error. They score 3 and lead it by 3.
Enzo gets a start against the Twins' Mike Pelfrey. Don't miss White Sox Twins tomorrow night at 7 right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
6 runs, 8 hits, no errors for them. 3 runs, 10 hits, and 1 huge error for us. Jordan Danks 1 for 2. Want to know the count? That's high in the left field. 1 out. September 15th, well, that's Strikeout Stroke Day. Join our Sox in their effort to raise awareness of stroke warning signs and the importance of acting fast. So WhiteSox.com or 866-SOX game for tickets.
Porcello has been on the ropes. He has yet to have a 1-2-3 inning. And yet, just 1 bad inning in the 3rd.
Alejandro 1 for 3. Single to lead off the bottom of the 1st, and it led to 3 runs. We led it 3-0 if you're just tuning in. Breaking ball strike to even the count at 1. Porcello, one of the first round draft choices out of high school that has really worked out.
You don't find it too often.
Hen's teeth. It's like hen's teeth.
But they talk about having a much higher upside than your normal 3 or 4 year college pitcher. However, the downside is catastrophic. You were paying a whole lot of money for a guy that never quite pans out, and you know, when it's 500 to 1, the odds aren't good that he's going to be great.
Two down.
Porcello stayed entirely out of the strike zone this entire at bat. Finally getting Diaza to go a little bit too far, so says Mike Winters. He went too far.
First pitch strike to Beckham, who is 2 for 3. Yeah, the downside's outweighs the upside. And that's the way it's been since 1965.
Rick Monday, first player drafted.
Right.
Had a long conversation in a restaurant before Lou Piniella became the manager of the Cubs. And we talked about just the very thing we're talking about today, is high school pitchers as the first pick that you take in the draft.
And there's another base hit for Beckham.
And Lou was talking about, and he was using at the time Dwight Gooden as the example. Because Dwight Gooden for the Mets was taken with the 4th pick in the draft. The Cubs had the first pick. They picked Sean Dunston and passed on Gooden. And the Mets took Gooden at number 4. And I asked about his philosophy with that, and same thing as yours. He said, for every guy that turns out to be a star from high school with your #1 pick, you'll find 500 or more that never get there and never accomplish near what they look like they're going to accomplish when you're scouting them in high school.
It's about the way it is.
And now the stakes are much bigger because the money is much larger.
And the draft picks today are so much more valuable.
Yep.
Alexei, he's 1 for 3 with a run scored. Beckham just a decent lead. Barcelo has a good move. These Tiger right-handers have good moves over the first base. Verlander has a good one. Scherzer has a good one.
And 100 pitches now for Porcello. With 2 out here in the 6th, and the bullpen up and going, right and left-hander for the Tigers.
Out and around it. Cabrera, short hop, nice peg. And that'll retire the side. We'll go to the 7th, trailing 6-3.
Cabrera falls behind 2-0. Then he fouls one off and throws a good one down and in to even it at 2-2. Misses to go full and then breaks out the straight change, and it produces the whiff. Cabrera can't believe he threw him a 3-2 straight change.
With good movement. Good movement on it.
Big pitch at the time.
As he takes first pitch, fastball strike. That's the first home run Cabrera has hit off Johnny Danks. And that's going foul. He is now 10 for 34. One out. Seems like every home run he hits, as Cabrera gives Ramirez a hand. Oh, nice play.
He just has a great deal of fun playing this game.
He does. I love him.
Next he goes in the hole with that patented dive, and he knows now he's got all kinds of time and gets it across.
Love watching that guy play. I think I mentioned it earlier, a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I saw him in a highlight. Umpire called him out with a bad pitch. And he just stood there for about 2 or 3 seconds. Then all of a sudden he just turned around and looked at the umpire and smiled.
At that point, the ump probably knew that he made a bad call, but what can you do?
Yeah. There's the strike. Beltre's the same way.
Oh, yeah. Well, Beltre has a smile on his face just about all the time.
He gone. 2 down.
Another changeup, lefty to lefty, and he's got Prince well out in front of it.
There's Victor. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored. If you're just joining us, we scored 3 in the first. As there's a line drive. They scored 3 in the third and 3 in the sixth. And we're at the 7th inning stretch. We trail it 6-3.
Finally on for the 46th time. Outstanding 4-0 record, 1.95 ERA. He's only allowed 2 home runs this year, and left-handers hitting nothing. 152 against him. And a defensive change, Don Kelly takes over in left field.
Ball 1 to Adam Dunn. Adam has walked, scored, struck out, and singled.
So Tuiasosopo leaves. Now that the Tigers have the lead.
Cabrera with a peg, can't get him. So that'll be a base hit. Good effort by Miguel Cabrera.
As Adam Dunn hits the ball more often to the left side, it's going to make it so that they don't shift quite as much. And Cabrera with an all-out effort. Even the fact that he's probably playing at 75 or 80%, and now he has his left hand on his left side. And that can't feel real comfortable for him every time he does something like that.
Garcia takes ball one. He's 2 for 3 with an RBI. And count 2-0. Had him a little off balance right there. Outfield shading him to the right. Gap out there in left center. Cabrera well back and well off the line at third. Three and one. Don't help him out. Should be. And quickly 2 out.
Time now for the Avis Super Slow-Mo replay, and this is one of the big reasons why they love Miguel Cabrera on this team. He's a guy that's obviously hurt. It's a 3-run lead, and you see him not only diving to his left, but from his knees still trying to make the play. He's still giving you every ounce of whatever he's got on every play, regardless of what happens. And hitting aside, that kind of effort on a daily basis endears you to your ball club.
Well, I think guys feed off of him. I think they feed off him and Prince. Prince is the same way. You got two unusual characters here. In respect that they're big, they're strong, they're not particularly fast. They give you everything they got each and every day. And if you're a young player and you can't learn from that, shame on you. Bobble, bobble, bobble. And it'll be an error.
That's the first thing resembling a misplay that we've seen.
Well, you said last inning, 2 innings ago. You're always going to make physical errors. I don't care how guarded you are. Brooks Robinson, one of the greatest that ever played third base, seemed like he made all the spectacular plays. The only plays he ever booted were routine plays.
Iglesias now with 5 errors. That, however, is the first error he's made in a Tiger uniform.
Well, let's see if we can make him pay. Here's Gillespie. I mentioned after the game we're going to board our charter going over to Minnesota. We're going to run Rienzo, Quintana, Sale, and Sandiaco out there. They're going to run Pelfrey, Correa, Andrew Albers, and Samuel DeDuno. Is Andrew Albers causing a little conversation among the media?
He's been pretty good.
He has no ERA and he's 2-0.
Yeah. Well, if Minnesota's in need of anything, is rebuilding the starting rotation, because that ERA is about 5.5 for the starters. It's going to be a while yet. As Albuquerque looses up in the pen.
Well, there's what we're talking about. They're 53-64 coming in to the day, 11 games under, and they've got a lot further to go than we do as far as getting back into a contending situation. When you got to start rebuilding a pitching staff, you got some problems. There's only 2 ways to do it. You better have them homebred, or you better spend a lot of money.
The starters' ERA over the course of this year is 5.06. That's second worst in the major leagues. So they know where the rebuilding has to come from. Just a question now of finding it. And you're right, if you're not growing your own, you better be prepared to spend a lot of money. And if you're not growing your own, as far as pitchers are concerned, and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you better have some great position players to trade for those arms you haven't developed. Or go out and try to take from the international market.
One on. Prince is going to play behind him. 2 out, full count. And there's a good eye. Ball 4. Now, one swing of the bat, and that arrow can jump up and bite them in the behind.
Now we're going to see Viciedo coming out to pinch hit for Flowers. And now the ball is in the court of Jim Leland, and if he wants to go to Albuquerque, he of the hard sliding Albuquerques.
So Leland at the top step asks if he's been announced. He's going to go get Albuquerque. Tank was 2 for 4 against Smiley with a home run.
So as Smiley departs this one and Albuquerque comes in, we'll step out and be back after these messages. On for the 36th time. We faced him when he came in to relieve for Fisser. He gave up 5 hits in 1+ innings, including a couple of runs.
First pitch strike.
And even with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball left to his own devices, he would throw slider after slider after slider.
Now Tank in a big hole, 0-2. He's 1 for 4 against Albuquerque, but that one hit was a home run.
Viciedo has done very well against the Tigers this year, but he's been battling a thumb problem.
There's a little fly ball softly hit into right center field, and that'll retire the side. We're into the 8th. We trail it by 3. Very much as Don Kelly will stand in to face Johnny Danks leading off here in the top of the 8th inning. Kelly making his first plate appearance. First ball hunting, fouls it back, and that'll be out of play. Josh Fegley behind the plate.
Tyler Flowers taken down for Viciato, necessitating Josh Fegley's appearance into this one. Johnny Danks has gone the whole way.
And that was pitch number 104. Hit softly, popped up. Beckham's got him. 1 out. And you can schedule Southpaw for your birthday party, wedding, holiday party, festival, or block party. So to have Southpaw visit your next event, call 312-674-1000 and visit whitesox.com/Southpaw. Now those Dodgers, they'll be hosting the Mets tonight out in L.A., Houston at Oakland. Pittsburgh lost to Tuffy. They had that game 1 in that era. Drop fly ball by Marte.
Got that lead to 2.
Yeah. Could have been a 4. Just a 2-shot swing there.
How about the Dodgers? The Dodgers, winners of 7 in a row, 9 of their last 10, beat Matt Harvey last night.
There's a solid shot by Infante. He's 2 for 4. Well, the Dodgers in the last 50 games have won 40.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And it coincides with 2 things. Yasiel Puig coming to the big leagues and Hanley Ramirez getting red hot. Of course, he's been injured lately. So that's going to be it for Johnny Danks. He will have made just under 110 pitches. And so Troncoso coming in. Danks steps out. He'll get a hand from the crowd. And we'll be back after these messages.
deck at US Cellular Field. You can interact with White Sox trainers, run the bases at the wiffle ball diamond, and test your swing. Test your swing at the batting cages. So catch all the action with Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Call 1-800-XFINITY to learn more.
Our Honda call to the pen is Ramon Troncoso. He comes on with 1 out here in the 8th inning, on for the 24th time. Left-handers have really hurt him. He's gotten most of the right-handers out. He'll be facing a succession of right-handers, assuming there is no pinch hitter. There's a look at Johnny Danks, who went 7 1/3, gave up 9 hits.
Iglesias takes first pitch strike. Talking about the Dodgers, yeah, in the last 50, they're 40-10. And the last National League team with a 50-game stretch that good? Well, you got to go back to 1975 when the Big Red Machine went on to win a World Series. 0-2 the count to Iglesias.
It's going to make a very interesting race for the MVP in the National League, because Arizona getting further behind, and their star, who hit a couple of home runs last night to win a ball game late, Paul Goldschmidt, has 29 home runs. He's driven in 93. He leads the league in total bases with 242 coming into today's action. So he's done just about everything right.
Nice pick. The return? No. Good play by Kevin.
Robs a base hit, and no return, so the inning stays alive.
Here's Holiday. He is 1 for 2, a single. Fly out to right, and then he was hit by a pitch.
We saw Jose Veras in the ball game last evening, and here he is again. They went, solidified their bullpen by getting yet another closer. Veras was a closer for Houston. Now he's a setup man for Detroit.
They have 6 runs. We have 3. We have 12 hits. They have 9. They have 1 error. Didn't hurt them. We have 1 error that really hurt. And revisiting the Dodgers scenario, the last time that they lost 2 games in a row, this is August 14th. The last time they lost 2 games in a row were June 20th and 21st.
It's been an amazing run.
Yeah, when you got to go back to 1975, it's been an amazing run.
Well, the Korean free agent Ryu has done a great job, but watching some of the highlights and watching a game that Clayton Kershaw pitched, I'm not sure how anybody hits him. His curveball is just
well, when he gets it over, you're not going to hit it.
Nope. He is really something.
And Greinke's won some big games for him.
Another terrific pitcher. Another #1 starter. Kershaw's ERA is 1.88. 3 complete games. 174 strikeouts, second only to Matt Harvey.
Got him. After the bobble. So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's still 6-3 Detroit.
Today's action. Look ahead to the upcoming series in Minnesota. Don't miss White Sox post-game live right after the game on Comcast Sportsnet. And we've got a brand new pitcher in, and that's Jose Veras, on for the 51st time. He's 0-5, but an ERA of 2.65. So forget about the earned run average. Look at his numbers with Detroit. 1.13 ERA, but the record and earned run average doesn't tell the tale for a closer, and that's exactly what he was with Houston. So they have the luxury of having a few guys on this team with closing experience.
And if you're scoring along with us on that last play, you give Gillespie an error. Then a 6-4-5 put out. So here's Danks. He's 1 for 3. Six, 9, and 1 for them. 3, 12, and 2 for us. All 12 of our hits singles. Prince with a nice pick right there. Ball hit sharply by Danks. Meanwhile, 1 out. And they have 9 hits. 8 of those are singles. So of the 21 hits, we have 20 singles in this game and 1 3-run homer. And it was by, if you're just tuning in, the guy that you would suspect
would hit the 3-run homer.
Here's Diaza. He's 1 for 4 with a run scored. Alejandro seen Veras one time, and he homered. Fakes the bunt.
Veras has a very good curveball, a fastball upwards of 95 miles an hour, and a straight change.
And that is Souvenir Mezzanine. Three and one. Don't help him out. Let's get something going right here. Let's pick up a couple of points. And a full count. 20,058.
They've been treated to summer resort weather, certainly. They would have liked to see a less sloppy ball game, but still 3 outs to go. Actually, a few more than that.
And there's a 1-out start. And that'll bring in Gordon. Gordon's 3 for 4 today. Gordon got his average up to 308. Austin Jackson a couple steps over towards Torrey Hunter and right. Fakes the bunt and draws Cabrera in.
Pretty good idea, knowing that you're in desperate need of at least one more base runner. And Cabrera was pretty deep at third. Now he's moved a couple steps in front of the bag.
There he goes. High and wide, and stolen base number 14 for Alejandro. 14 for 20.
He got such a big jump on Veras, who uses a high leg kick, that even with a good throw, odds are overwhelming he's going to be in there. But this ball is well wide of the bag. Infante does a nice job of keeping it out of center field. But no chance at all to get Alejandro.
And the count 3-0. Alexei on deck. There's one. Get him right here, Gordon. Take him out of here. And there's ball 4. So back-to-back walks.
And we'll see Jeff Jones come out, try to settle down Veras.
Some
bullpen.
other scores for you. Marlins leading Kansas City 3-2. Bottom of the 8th in Kansas City.
Kansas City was leading that game 2-1, and then the Marlins, who have given Kansas City all they wanted in that series, took the lead.
Baltimore leading the D-backs 4-2. Bottom of the 3rd in Phoenix. Cleveland has come back to tie Minnesota at 7.
They were down 7-3 in that game and battled their way back into it.
Tying one at the plate. 1 out, and there's first pitch strike.
Now that you mentioned the Indians, they've just taken the lead. 8-7 in the top of the 10th.
Late call.
That one was a bit off the plate. First one you can make a case for. Second one was wider than the first.
The 0-2 pitch. Curveball, and it's going to fall. So here comes Piazza. Beckham will hold at second, and it's a 6-4 ball game on the Ducks North by Alexei.
Good base running on the part of Alejandro Piazza and good coaching on the part of Joe McEwing. It's one thing when the ball falls in. It's another thing when Infante, when trying to get the baseball, swats it away. But this is the first part. Then he tries to barehand it. The ball gets away. Joe McEwing waving him all the way. And it's a 2-run game, and Veras is going to depart. So a chance to climb right back into this here in the 8th inning.
Well, you walk 2 guys in a 3-run ball game in the bottom of the 8th inning. You ought to get scored on. So he departs. And
Joaquin Benoit. He's got 14 saves, and he's on for a very rare 5-out save. He's 2-0, the ERA a little above 1.5. 55 strikeouts in 47 innings, allowed just a couple of home runs. He inherits base runners at first and second, facing the big man in a 2-run game.
Adam 2 for 3 today with a walk, a run scored. But against Benoit, he's faced him 7 times, 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts. And takes first pitch strike. Defense, for the most part, straight up. Gap out there in left center. And the count 0-2. Some guys you just don't pick up. Some guys just don't fit your eye. Good speed aboard. Beckham at second. Ramirez at first. That one at 96.
He had a game plan in that at bat against Dunn, and that was keep throwing it higher and higher and higher and eventually throw it by him, because he didn't go to the splitter. He just went to the high heat.
So here's Garcia. He's 2 for 4 with an RBI today. There it was. He's looking for it, got it, and underneath it. And let's check out our AT&T tweet of the game from at Arkansas Brett. It's amazing how much better I feel about the Sox with Avisail Garcia and the energy. All right, at Arkansas Brett, we feel the same way, buddy. And the count 0-2.
The 2 fastballs in the exact same spot. They've been just on the inner part of middle, and he's just reared back and thrown it 96 miles an hour, both of them.
Why not? That one at 94. Zone him in, reel him in, and light him up right here. Another 96. We have stranded 12 in this game, and we trail it 6-4. 6 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for them. They have stranded 5. 4 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors. We have stranded 12. So it's the top of the order. Austin Jackson, who's 1 for 4. Gordon's got him. 1 out. Make your plans to be with us tomorrow night. We'll have it for you right here on Comcast Sportsnet. First of that 4-game set from Target Field in Minneapolis. Andre Rienzo against Mike Pelfrey. As I mentioned, we're going to run Rienzo, Quintana, Sale, and Santiago out there. They're going to run Pelfrey, Correa, Albers, and Deduno. Torrey can't get the breaking ball. He's 1 for 3. He walked, went out to right, singled, and he's grounded to third.
In the meantime, Minnesota, in the bottom of the 10th, has come back to tie the Indians, much to the dismay of Tom Hamilton. Fine radio broadcaster and voice of the tribe.
He's one of the best. Tom is.
Heck, I can almost hear him from here.
And that's foul. So the count 1-2. Yeah, it wouldn't bother me to see Minnesota play about, I don't know, 15, 16 innings.
They can do that. You got a pretty decent pen.
Cincinnati shuts out the Cubs 5-0. Arroyo the winner. He's 11-9. And that's up high. If you're just tuning in, just getting home and tuning in, we've given them two unearned runs, and they lead it by 2. Miami stretched that lead out to 5-2 now, top of the 9th, over the Royals. Royals, who have won 17 of their last 21 ball games. Just did get a piece of that one at 94.
Wouldn't it be a great position to hit in? Hitting in front of a guy that nobody in baseball wants to face. So you got a pretty good idea that you're going to see some good pitches. And that's the spot that Torrey Hunter occupies ahead of Miguel Cabrera.
Little nubber. Josh has got it. 2 down. Yeah, that's a great spot. As is Prince Fielder, hitting behind Cabrera with Martinez behind him.
Well, many times in the first inning, if nobody gets on, Cabrera gets a base hit, you're going to put that starter in a stretch in his most uncomfortable inning to face Prince. That's one of the reasons why Prince has driven in 81 runs.
Yeah, Prince is in great position. That's a souvenir right side.
Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And with the score 3-0 Sox, Miguel Cabrera in the 3rd inning comes up and makes it a 3-3 game. his 38th home run. He's driven in 114. And that is our Miller moment.
The 0-2 pitch.
Now not the ideal time to hit. As you can see, that ball will appear to come to you in sections. Let's put it this way, it's a nice time to be ahead in the game.
Lays off that breaking ball, down and away. So 2-2 to Cabrera. Had him 0-2, and now it is full. Nice pick. Cabrera just looking at Alexi once again. All right, we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. We need 2 to tie.
So Cabrera out of the lineup. Benoit stays in the game, trying for the 5-out save.
Kevinger will lead it off. He'll be followed by Gillespie. And we need 2 to tie. 691 for them, 413, and a huge 2 for us. Kevinger 1 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. And he takes ball 1. He also is 1 for 3 against Benoit, and that 1 hit left the premises. Generous strike given to Benoit. 1-1. Start us off right here. And that's a good way to start it. Pokes it out into center field.
He gets this one in approximately the same spot as he got the last one. And that's his second hit of the day.
And here's Gillespie. He's 1 for 3, an RBI single back in the first inning. He grounded to second, went out to left, and he drew a walk. Takes low ball 1. Now, he's got a good count. The Catbirds seed at 2-0. Outfield, they're spread out. Gap out there in left center. Decent lead by Keppinger. And the count is now 3-0. Take 2. There's one. Fegley on deck. And there's ball 4. So the tying runs aboard. Nobody out. And it sets the scene for what hopes to be a dramatic finish.
Jeff Jones comes out once again. He's made a lot of trips to the mound this entire series.
So here's Fegley giving Joe McEwing a long look down as McEwing saying, don't get doubled up on a line drive. We've seen enough of that this year. Josh making his first plate appearance. Prince fielder and Santiago in close. Prince creeping in even closer. Just jabs at it, and the count 0-1. Another long look down.
Josh does have one sacrifice this year.
Well, he's not going to do it to first because Prince is going to take the bunt away from him. He's an aggressive first baseman. Here he comes. Creeping closer, low, closer. Now back off. Well, when you do that, you give your corners a much welcomed tell. Oh, 1-1 the count. And here he comes. Oh, what a nice bunch. Sacrifice 1-4. Gets the job done.
Second sacrifice of the year, and that one was perfect. Forcing Benoit to make the only play that he had. Santiago was forced to come in. There was nobody covering third, and Benoit had the one play. It's called by Holiday. He's the captain. He's got the whole play unfolding in front of him. And he makes the play at first.
So here's Jordan. Jordan 1 for 4. Hit the ball hard twice today. Got to make him get it up on anything off speed. That splitter of his. That's the reason he's out there closing games.
He's wound up in the dirt twice. He's got 2 wild pitches.
Count evens at 1. Take him into left center, Jordan. Play a little pepper with it. Just pop it out there. That one at 97.
That's how he threw it by Adam Dunn in the same spot up. Most left-hand hitters up there with an uppercut swing will have no chance.
No, in the fastballs, you got to make him get it down. The other stuff, you got to make him get it up. That's why he's pretty good.
He has been terrific. That splitter just dropped off the table.
Yep. 2 down.
After looking at 97 upstairs, you see one of these, and he had Jordan way out in front of it.
So it's up to De Aza. He did it last night. Can he do it again?
Done it twice on the homestand with 2 walk-off base hits.
Those 2 unearned runs we gave him, they're the difference in this ball game.
Last night with Phil Coke coming in the ball game with the bases loaded. A high fastball winds up in right field, and that was that.
He is 2 for 5 against Benoit. And the count 0-2.
It'll be pretty tough to see that splitter in this visibility, because those shadows from the light standard goes all the way out to the front of the mound. And another one that just dips out of sight.
That one at 96.
That one almost got the lead elbow to load him up. Gordon Beckham in the on-deck circle.
Gordon, who was 3 for 4 today. The Ducks on the pond, 2 out and a 1-2 delivery. Almost got it by him at 97. Once again, the 1-2. Down ball right side, and this ball game is over. Well, Stoney, when you strand 14 guys and you lose the game 6-4, you had your shot.
Well, it's also been kind of a standard lament this year, and that is, if not for the unearned runs, this would have been a different ball game. So it was a good series against the Tigers, a series that was sweepable, but 2 unearned runs today were very costly, and it's on to Minnesota. See what happens there.
On to Minnesota for 4, Kansas City for 3. And let's check out our GMC player of the game. It is Gordon Beckham. All he did was mention go 3 for 4. He raised his batting average up to 308, our GMC player of the game. So for my partner, Steve Stone, our director Jim Angio, our producer Mike Leary, our associate producer Dave Ross, our technical manager Mark Harper, the executive producer Jim Corno Jr., also for the mayor Mean Joe Groove and Mike Mayer, Frank D'Amato, Dennis Wood, Doug Bullard. This is a Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, the Orland Park Nissan postgame show with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.